You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Friday Eve, and we are at 188,000 views. Come on. This is insane. Thank you so much to everybody who watches the show, who follows the show, who shares the show. Now's a good time to just share the show. My goal was to get to 100,000 views by January 1st of this year. Took us 6 months to do that, and we're already at almost 200,000 in less than a month. So thank you to everybody who watches the show. It's an honor and a privilege to bring you amazing people every day that you need to meet. It's also Throwback Thursday, and there was a time, it was 2009, I believe. I did a show for Milwaukee Public Television called Richard Karlinski, because that was my old last name, Richard Karlinski's Primetime Special. And it was a variety show, much like this. And we did a publicity shoot for it. And this is me in 2009, getting ready to do my first ever show that ended up winning an award, which was really fun. And then they had me back to do a live episode because they loved it so much. And then I moved. Didn't get to do that anymore. But it was so fun to do that show and to be in front of a live audience, which I'm hoping this is the goal for 2025, is to get this show in front of an audience again, a live audience, studio audience. I want you to know that today's show is all live. All the guests are live. We're live right now. So if you are watching this at 10 a.m. Eastern and you have questions for our guests, put them in the chat, put them in the comments, because let's start interacting with y'all who are watching. And I think our guests would love that. So if you have anything to share today, do it. And we will add you to the show. All right. I think that's it. I think we should start the show because we have a good one. And so we're going to take a break. And we'll be back with Lane Igoudin after this, who's got a great, great memoir called The Family Maybe. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, love. You're listening right now wondering if you can get really clear about your own next step, about how to navigate whatever messy thing that's sitting in front of you. And the answer is yes. Even if you don't know right now in this moment, or it feels really weird or scary to follow whatever it is you want to do, you absolutely can through coaching. It's a safe place to explore it all and take action using your head and your heart. Email me at stacy@stacyandon.com. Find out all the details and have a no strings chat together.
We're back. My first guest is a remarkable man who has touched the lives of countless people through his writing and his unwavering dedication to family. He's the author of A Family Maybe, a moving memoir that chronicles his journey through foster adoption to fatherhood. Please welcome Lane Igoudin. Hi, Lane.
Hi, Richard. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. And by the way, I love that hat. You should have kept it.
It is here. I actually stole that from. It's right here. I was homecoming king, prom king in high school. No big deal. And I stole it, and I was supposed to give it back. And I told the principal, "No, this is a big deal to me. You will have to buy a new one next year." So it has been around. It travels with me.
Wow.
So there you go. Thanks for being here. I know it's early over on the West Coast. You're watching the sun come up, but tell everybody about your beautiful memoir.
Okay, so I just published a memoir called The Family Maybe. And in this book, I describe my partner and my adoption of adopting 2 kids from the foster system here in Los Angeles County. And it was the book I never actually planned to write. We were a little bit younger. Our kids are now 18 and 20, so we were a little bit younger because at the time they were a newborn and a 1-year-old. But so we went into the system thinking that things will work out, pretty well, and we'll give a home to, to one child or two, or we were looking for a sibling set, and things began to go wrong pretty early on. So I decided to start documenting what was happening because I had never read anything about what to do and how to make it through a journey like this when things are not going the way you planned them. And so I decided to, basically document things along the way. And then later I described our journey. And it was a very transformative, I would say a life-changing journey in this book called A Family Maybe.
What then prompted you to write the book? When were you like, this has to be a story that's told?
I think it came from two places. One was that, like I said, we weren't really educated about what to do when things are not working out. And now, of course, I do know a lot about the system, and I'm sharing the tips and advice and our experiences with prospective parents, but also with parents in general, because it's a 20-year parenting journey for us. And the other place was, I would say, believe it or not, it was a lot of anger, because during the process we were facing a double stigma, because as a gay couple back in the early 2000s, we really had no rights as a couple or as a family. This was during what's called the pre-equality times. So we were two adults fostering and then adopting two kids who were somehow related, pretty much all the way to the end of the process. And so this was one. And the other one was that as foster adoptive parents, which is I think a kind of a deep social issue, there was a dilemma. I mean, right there, are you foster, which means that you're just raising the kids, you're getting paid, and then you're ready to give them up at any moment, or are you an adoptive parent, which means that you're planning to raise these kids as your own and keep them forever, and no one else can really come in and take your family apart. So we fought. Basically, these were the issues we were dealing with during our very very unpredictable 3-year process, which I describe in the book.
Did you grow up wanting kids? Like, I grew up knowing I was gay very early, but I always knew I wanted kids. I didn't know how I would do it. I didn't know if it was even possible. But did you grow up wanting kids?
I did, and I would say that I had a vision of myself as a father, probably as early as when I was maybe 10 or 12. So it was always central to me, and we happened to Jonathan and I happened to meet during the time when it became possible for a single gay man or for a couple to foster kids to adoption. Some states began to open up to us, so we were pretty much the very first generation of what's called the out gay parents. But it was also it was still the pre-equality time, so it was still the time when legally we were non-entities to each other. So yes, I always knew that, and of course I'm so glad that I got to fulfill my dream, really.
Yeah. Who would you say that the book is for? Like, who should be reading the book?
The book. Well, the book tells a personal story. It's a personal story. It's a kind of a transformative life journey, because I'm not the person at the end of the book that I am at the beginning.
Yeah.
But also it's about taking on an experience which gives your life so much more meaning. It gives you a whole new dimension that you would never know if you really don't do that. And I'm glad we had that. So my book is really for general audience. It's published by a regular press, which is it's published by a press based at Portland State University, and it's distributed to regular bookstores because it does find its reader among general audience, among prospective parents, people who have been adopted, people who know the adoptees or had adoptive siblings. And so it's a pretty kind of general market book.
What was it like to go back that far and tell your story and kind of relive some of that? Because it obviously wasn't all fun. And so what was that like to have to go and relive all of that?
You're so right about it, Richard, because I like I said, I was thinking, okay, I'll write about it for other people when once we reach the end, whatever the end might be. But actually, when we finalized our adoptions, I couldn't. I just couldn't write about it. It was just I was so PTSD about the whole process that
Mhm.
everything just sat in boxes and files for about 4 years. 4 years before I
Wow.
could actually go in and open the files and see what's in them. And then it took me about 8 years to complete the to complete the draft and really start sort of looking for the publisher and things like that. So yeah, it was a long process. And also I noticed that the special challenge in writing a memoir was that I have changed. I'm not the person who was that sort of much younger, younger, you know, uh, uh, man going into this process. I know more about life. I understand things better, and I have changed in many ways. But the person that lived through the experiencer of things is still there on the page. So how do I, what kind of voice do I give that person? How do I reconcile with the difference between the Lane who lived through the events and the Lane who is writing the book, 10 years later? So that was a challenge. That was a challenge. When you look at your emails, when you look at the things you did, and I'm like, well, would I do the same thing now? Yeah.
Yeah, and then write about it. That's the other thing. That's what's crazy is like I would look back and be like, well, do I need to put that in there? Should
Mm.
I change that a little bit? Like you have to really be honest with yourself about your past and about your life.
And with your readers, I did not
Uh,
want to misrepresent or in any way sort of glorify or beautify the person that I was.
mhm,
I am no hero. I'm just a regular person going through some very extraordinary experience, and
yeah.
so pretty vulnerable, making mistakes and learning from them. So I'm writing about that for sure.
Yeah. I'm always curious, and I like to ask authors. So, Curt, if you're listening backstage, you're going to get this question too. The book is called A Family Maybe, but I'm curious if you had any other titles that you were playing with or why you settled on this title.
Um, the runner-up title before I came up with A Family Maybe was Dispositions, because it has a double meaning. A disposition is the final decision of the court in some legal matter. And by the way, I'm not a lawyer. Just so everybody knows, I'm an English professor. I do not give legal advice, but I got to learn a lot. Let me tell you, I got learned a lot about the legal process in the children's court. So when a child is detained by the court for there usually there's a criteria of neglect or some other criteria they need to meet. So first they detain the child, and then I'm using a legal term here, they quote dispose of the child. So they
Mm,
make a disposition in this case. So I thought, so we got through so many dispositions with both kids because it was such a complicated case, that word and the sort of and also disposition is how you feel about sort of your attitude towards people. So that was my previous title, but I felt it was a little too cold, because this is really a book about a family. So much as I like that title, I let go of it. But you get the idea. I
yeah.
wrote, what's interesting, I before the book even came out, I published a paper which became part of a book, an anthology about how to write memoirs, which is called The Legal and the Human. And that title really represented that contrast. When we talk about the adoption and family, there's so much legal, very sort of cold and objective
Mhm.
involved in making those decisions, but also a family is what humans make. And so how can I just even consider letting go of a child that I've raised since birth, just
Yeah.
because someone who has never met the child makes a decision 20 miles away from my house? you
Mm.
know so that's how raw it gets.
Ugh. What do you love most about your life right now?
um well, I'm still teaching 20 years later, and our kids, we're now empty nesters. Our younger daughter is away at college, and the older one lives near us, and we're supporting her, but we're still very much a family, because we get together at least once a month. So and it's like at every point of this journey, you transition from one stage that you just barely learned to another one. Let's say we barely kind of figured out how to deal with two, let's say preteens, and then two teenage girls, and then they're now young women, and now it's like, well, they're dating, they're also, they're dating their parents. So it's like you barely got this down, and you're on to a
Yeah.
brand like a whole new stage. So
It
yeah,
never
you
ends,
just
that
gotta go
parenting
with
thing.
it, flow
Yeah,
with it. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. What's the best way that people can connect with you?
Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Lane Igoudin, Igoudin, and I also have a pretty active website, laneigudin.com, so they can find me there, and they can certainly find the book if they're interested on Amazon, Bookshop, basically wherever books are sold, they can find it.
Good. It's a pleasure having you here. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story, getting up early for me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here too. Thank you.
Yes. The book is called A Family Maybe. There it is, right there, available wherever you get your books. We'll be right back with Curt Linville after this. Don't go away.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Back, everyone. My next guest is an author, adventurer, and philosopher on a mission to help you build a better life. He's explored mountains, interviewed hundreds of athletes on his adventure sports podcast, and even raised 4 amazing kids. Now he's sharing his wisdom in his new book, 99 Words, Building a Better Life. Get ready to be inspired by the one and only Curt Linville. Hi, Curt.
Richard, thank you very much for that introduction.
Well, you can thank ChatGPT for that, because I'm not smart enough to write something so amazing. But you are very welcome. I'll send that to you. You can take it from now on. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad to share hope, a message of hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell
Richard, every
everybody
day
about your book.
I'm working hard to make people's lives richer.
That's why I needed you here. Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm sorry I missed your question.
No, it's okay. Tell everybody about the book. It's called 99 Words, Building a Better Life.
Well, there's a story behind the book, Richard, and it has to do with my own kids and my own life experience. But my wife and I raised 4 kids who are now all in their 20s. 2 have graduated from college and 2 are in college. And we poured our hearts into raising this family. But as they became adults, and especially through their college years, I began to meet a lot of their acquaintances and fellow students and peers, and realized that it's really hard. I'll just say it that way. It's hard to become an adult. It's hard to build a life once you are an adult. And I think that our society right now has shifted in a lot of ways. And some of them have been very good, and some of them have been, frankly, bewildering. And so I saw a real need for people to manage, to put together a belief system that they could build a life on, so that they could live better lives. And so I was inspired to write the book, 99 Words, Building a Better Life.
Did you ever want to be an author, a writer? Was that ever on your bingo card for your life?
I have always enjoyed writing, but I raised my family by being an RF engineer, so I designed cellular networks. Um, and it wasn't my love, right? Being an engineer, I don't really identify with. I've always identified with encouraging others, and I got to do that with my family. Looked forward to a day when I could write. So this is my first published book, and I'm super excited to try to share it with people who are looking for hope.
Yeah. So we'll tell everybody, obviously there are more than 99 words in this book. So tell everybody kind
Right.
of what's in the book.
Well, the 99 words part is a bit of play on words. I decided I needed maybe 10 or 12 concepts to write a good book that could encourage people. And so one day I brainstormed and I got to 99 words and I stopped myself. And instead of writing 99 chapters in a book on 99 topics, I realized that what I had compiled there was really a compendium of ideas that people can work on to make their own lives better. The main theme of the book is that life can be better than it is because we can be better than we are. And the 99 words are literally in the book as a system to inspire us to focus on areas of our lives that we want to improve so that our life does get better. It's in the second chapter of the book. So that's what 99 words means.
How has writing the book changed you and the way you look? Because it's, like as you're writing it, I'm sure you're also kind of learning and changing the way you think as you're actually putting this all together.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. It's humbling. That the concept of the wounded healer comes to mind as well. And that is that none of us are perfect. We don't have it all figured out. I'm trying to make my life better as well. And that's been a lifelong pursuit. And I can say that there's a lot of hope out there for a meaningful, more joyful existence in this life. I see a lot of younger adults, especially, that are struggling with nihilism, narcissism, the isms that hurt. And I want to say that it doesn't have to be that way. Life can be super rewarding and meaningful. And so as I wrote this book, I found areas of my own life. I'm like, oh, I could improve that. And hey, I need to practice that. And, the 99 words are for me first. I do the same system and it makes a difference.
Is there one thing from the book that you could throw out today that people could start doing today?
There's so much there. This book is foundational in the sense of trying to build firm foundations to actually build an entire life on. It's a long book. There's so much in it. And drilling down to one thing is hard. Maybe I can mention two that I think are paramount. The prerequisites for building your best life are honesty and love. And learning how to live honestly with yourself first, but then with others around you is so empowering and changes your entire existence. And it's a matter of doing that in love and doing that in an effective way so that you know exactly where you stand. And then love is so misunderstood. People think of love as a feeling, or maybe they think of it as a relationship, or they think of love as something shared between maybe parents and children. And those are all forms of love. But love goes so much more deeply into what it means to live a successful life. And I talk a lot in the book about what tough love is and how challenging it can be. It's not a Pollyanna concept. It's something that requires sacrifice and hard work. And I really believe love is the most powerful force in the universe, and that it's through love that we can develop into the people that really we need to be to enjoy that meaningful and rewarding life. So those are two concepts, but they're 99 words. It just goes on and on and on. And by the way, the reason they're 99 instead of 100 is because I wanted that tension. There's always more. It pulls toward the next one.
Well, there you go. That probably answers my question of Did you have any other titles for the book, and how you landed on 99 Words, Building a Better Life?
99 Words was the original title, and I added the subtitle, Building a Better Life, so people would have some clue as to what it was about. I didn't really consider any other titles, although I don't know that this title is extraordinarily catchy. I think that it does create a little bit of a curiosity. People are like, 99 words? That book's an inch thick. What does he mean, 99 words? So that's the idea. 99 Words of Hope is another way to think of it.
And I love I'm going to put it back up there, the lighthouse on the cover as well.
I was so blessed to work with a man who put this cover together for me. I told him what I wanted, and then he made it far better than I ever could have. And he really did a fantastic job of putting that cover together for me. So,
does it make you want to write it again?
I don't think I'll ever stop writing. And Richard, to be clear, every chapter in this book could be its own book. Mm-hmm. This is not the kind of book that has 3 main points and 200-page of filler. Every chapter in this book is the introduction to something meaningful and deep and important. And so future projects, I probably will take 1 or 2 chapters and dive into these concepts much more deeply so that people can continue to expand in their understanding. Yeah. And we can learn together. So,
or you start a podcast, just throwing that out there. Who would you say that the book is for? Who should be reading this book?
It's for people of all ages. I would say all adult ages, maybe 13 and up, but it's especially focused on younger adults. And when I say younger adults, I wrote the book for college students and people recently graduated that are trying to formulate what a really good life would look like. And so that's my primary audience, but there's something in there for everyone, no matter what your age.
That's so smart. As you were saying that for young adults and what life is like it can be, I feel like it's so confusing now because everyone wants to be an influencer, and what does that mean? Right. And what is life, and how do you make it great? So it's the perfect audience for this book, I think. Yes. What do you love most about your life right now?
Oh, wow. I could say that I have a great life, and from the outside, a lot of people would say, oh, it looks like he has a great life. I do have a good life. It's very, very good, but I'm still learning and growing just like everyone else on the planet. Every day is a new challenge. And my wife and I love our family. My daughter just got married this last year. So now our family is growing again. We live in a wonderful place, in a delightful community. And I think right now I am probably, most enthusiastic about reaching out to others with a message of hope. That's why I wrote the book, and it has created a lot of meaning in my own life. One of the main messages of the book is that we need to have something that we believe in that aligns with our values, that we can pour energy into in a way that's fulfilling and can encourage others. That's why I wrote the book. That's what I'm doing. I'm living what the book says to do.
Yeah, I think you definitely are. And I can't thank you enough for writing the book, for talking about it, for having that resource. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm looking for people that could use encouragement. And frankly, I think that's everybody. Yeah. But there's some people that probably feel more bewildered than others. And everybody knows some of those people. Maybe this book could be a resource to help. Yeah. I'm just trying to reach people with a message that life can be good. It can be better than it is because we can do better. We can do better with our own lives.
What is the best way that people can connect with you?
CurtLinville.com is probably the easiest. That's my website. And you can find me on Instagram, but on CurtLinville.com, there's other contact information. And of course, the book is on Amazon. So 99 Words, Building a Better Life. Pretty easy to find there. And I look forward to hearing from anyone that would like more information.
Love it. Thank you so much for being here and doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Richard. I appreciate the time.
Yes, of course. Come back anytime. The book, 99 Words, Building a Better Life, will be right back after this. Don't go away.
Listen, everyone needs a co-conspirator to reimagine their lives and uncover the opportunities in the challenges they face. If you are looking for the place where hope meets possibility and you are ready to create a life of meaning despite the diagnosis, look no further. Helen is a certified professional coach with a background in medical research and an autoimmune diagnosis who brings compassion, empathy, and your best interests to every conversation. Learn more about coaching with Helen at helensampsonmullen.com.
All right, that's our show, everyone. Thanks for watching. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching the show, and I love you for it. On tomorrow's show, we have Christoph Morrow to talk about his book, The Second Son, and Vicki Ann Bush is here to talk about her young adult series. Have a great day, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.